of course, you know, he got a new car when he was here. And they took the keys to the car. They told him he couldn't have the car because, you know, you can just take off anytime, which he understood that. And so he went back, and there was some things that happened because a lot of the big shots weren't there. And so he was telling me about it. I said, well, just don't pay attention to that, you know. Just keep praising God and doing what you're supposed to do. So yesterday morning they called him in. And he had every intention of coming home. And I prayed about it, and I knew it wasn't the right thing for him to do because, like Joel, and you know Joel, what the drug situation is. Well, I've been through it with my son, believe me. So anyway, they called him in, and they said, they said, Edward, they said, you did so good since you've been here, the 3 months you've been here, that we would like to make you a security guard. And this is what he'd been talking to me about. He wanted to be a security guard. And so anyway, they sat him down and they told him, they said, you'll have your own room. They said, you won't be in with other people. You'll have your own room. You have to have a cell phone. And you'll even have the keys to your car back. They said, because we trust you. And because you don't get out of going to classes. You don't get out of going to church. You don't get out of any of that. You still have to attend all these classes and things. You still have to serve the Lord. And he called me and he was telling me about it. He says, Mama, I can't believe what God's done for me. He said, I am finally, he said, I feel like I'm on top of the mountain. And he said, he said, the most important thing is, he said, those drugs? He said, I don't have one inkling to touch those drugs. Now, I want you to know, I do go to a pain doctor. I don't lie about that. That boy was home for 4 days. That child never so much as asked me for a Tylenol. Now, when he got out of prison, and Mickey can tell you, we didn't even get out for the prison grounds before he was asking for pain medication. So I praise God for this because God is what's done this, and I don't care what anybody says. You put it in the hands of God, and sooner or later, God's going to hear your prayer, and God's going to take care of it. And I'm telling you, I have never praised God like I have praised God since this child went up there. The 3 months he's been, and he went all the way to Naples. He's been in Naples 5 times for 30 days at a time. And this last time he went to Naples, there just happened to be a guy there in Naples that got him to where he's at now. He said, I've got pool and I'm going up there and you can go with me if you want to. And so my son said, okay. And I still, I say that was the Lord that took control of that situation. The Lord knew where that guy was going, and he knew that is where my son needed to be. And my son ended up there, and I'm telling you, I can't thank God enough for the way my son is. This is a child since he was 16 has been on drugs. And he will tell you, for 10 years, his arms have seen needle after needle after needle. And overdose, and they bring him back. But I tell you, I praise God tonight that he is where he's at. That he's innocent, and I know if it wasn't for the whole church praying for him, and if it wasn't for, God, he wouldn't be where he's at. So I just want to thank the Lord tonight for what he did for my son.